You may be aware of the epic battles that changed the course of history, like the clash between Alexander the Great and King Porus at the Battle of the Hydaspes River. Alexander with his elite Macedonian phalanx and Porus with his war elephant cavalry. Yet do you know what really turned the tide of this historic battle? Picture this: Alexander leading his troops against the mighty Indian forces. As the two armies face off, it's clear this will be no easy victory. Then the moment arrives that will decide the fate of nations. The war elephant, a symbol of power and intimidation, charges straight for Alexander. His massive tusks and fierce demeanor strike fear into the hearts of his men. But Alexander stands firm. His elite Macedonian phalanx, a wall of overlapping shields and spears, is ready. As the elephant approaches, a small group of Alexander's men step forward. With a coordinated movement, they hurl their spears, each one finding its mark. One spear pierces the elephant's eye, another its ear. The wounded animal, disoriented and distressed, is then finished off with a final volley of arrows. Victory is theirs. But this wasn't just a display of military prowess. It was a testament to strategy and adaptability. See, this wasn't the first time Alexander's forces had faced war elephants. He'd seen them before during his campaigns in Asia Minor, and he knew their strength, if left unchecked, could be devastating. So his secret weapon wasn't a new tactic or an innovative piece of technology. It was knowledge, intelligence gathered from previous encounters. It was adapting his strategy based on his enemy's strengths, exploiting their weaknesses. He used his knowledge of Asian war elephants and tailored his approach to counter their power. This wasn't brute force that won the day, but strategic brilliance. This is the untold story of how secret weapons, hidden in plain sight, often go unnoticed, yet their impact is undeniable. Secret weapons aren't always about brute force or overwhelming firepower. Sometimes it's the quieter, more understated strategies that truly make the difference. Just as Alexander the Great recognized the threat posed by war elephants and devised a strategy to counter them, secret weapons can come in various forms. From understanding your enemy's tactics to utilizing the environment to your advantage. For instance, consider the role of camouflage in modern warfare. Soldiers learn to blend in with their surroundings, making them nearly invisible to the enemy. A skilled sniper can remain hidden for hours, days even, waiting for the perfect moment to strike. Their weapon isn't just the rifle in their hands, it's the concealment that gives them the element of surprise, the ability to be in plain sight, yet remain completely undetected. This concept of hidden in plain sight is a recurring theme in the world of secret weapons. Take, for example, the Trojan horse, one of history's most famous covert operations. A large wooden horse was constructed by the Greeks during the siege of Troy, and inside this seemingly magnificent gift to the Trojans was a secret stash of Greek soldiers. When the horse was brought into the city of Troy, those same soldiers emerged in the dead of night, opening the city gates for the rest of the Greek army. By blending in with the surroundings, they were able to infiltrate the city undetected and change the outcome of the war. Now, fast forward to the Cold War era. Picture the launch of a nuclear missile. The world holds its breath as it hurtles towards its target. But what if there's more to this missile than meets the eye? What if it's equipped with a decoy, a diversion that confuses the enemy's radar system, leading them to believe that the real missile is going off course? In this case, the secret weapon is deception, a calculated strategy to outsmart the opponent. Now, think about the use of misinformation and propaganda in warfare. Throughout history, leaders have used words as weapons. A well-crafted propaganda campaign can sway public opinion, turning potential allies into enemies and vice versa. Misinformation can sow discord among the ranks of the enemy, leading to distrust and confusion. The weapon here is the manipulation of information, a secret strategy that operates in the shadows of perception. From ancient battles to modern warfare, secret weapons have always played a pivotal role in determining the outcome of conflicts. While we often focus on the physical aspects of war, the tangible weapons of destruction, it's essential to remember that the true power often lies in the unseen. The strategies and tactics that operate beneath the surface, these hidden advantages can be game changers, capable of shifting the balance of power and surprising even the most seasoned military minds. So keep your eyes sharp and your mind sharper still. You never know when a secret weapon might be lurking around the corner, waiting to change the course of a battle, or even a war. And now we tell you the story of the invincible weapon that struck terror into the hearts of ancient soldiers. The year is 1279 BC, and the place is the Orontes River in Syria. A mighty battle is raging between the Egyptians of the New Kingdom and the Hittites, formidable Anatolian people known for their skilled use of chariots. The Egyptian pharaoh Ramesses II, confident in his massive army, engages the Hittite king Muwatalli, who has a much smaller force at his disposal. Despite being outnumbered, the Hittites refuse to back down. The Egyptians, with their advanced weaponry and battle-hardened soldiers, press their attack relentlessly. But the Hittite chariots prove to be a match for them. These chariots are faster, more maneuverable, and deadlier than anything the Egyptians have ever seen. Despite their valiant efforts, the Egyptians find themselves at a disadvantage. The Hittite chariots seem to appear out of nowhere, raining down arrows and causing havoc among their ranks. The Egyptians, taken by surprise and with no effective defense against this new and deadly weapon, are forced to retreat. This battle marked a turning point in history. It was the first time a chariot had been used in such a decisive manner, showcasing its potential as a weapon of war. Chariots were not just a means of transportation for the Egyptians or the Hittites. They were tools of war, extensions of the warrior's will, and they played a pivotal role in ancient warfare. However, the truth about their use was a closely guarded secret, whispered only among the elite few. For the uninitiated, the chariot might have appeared as a mere cart, nothing more than a wooden platform on wheels. But those who knew the secrets of the chariot understood its true potential. When the Hittite charioteers raced across the battlefield, they were not just driving a vehicle, they were unleashing a whirlwind of death. The horses pulling the chariot were not just animals, they were instruments of war, bred for speed, strength, and endurance. Their muscular bodies, powerful legs, and strong necks enabled them to traverse rugged terrains, pull heavy loads, and move swiftly on command. But what truly made the horses invaluable assets was their ability to be controlled with precision, through a combination of harnesses, bits, and whips. The charioteer could direct the horses with finesse, guiding them through tight turns, sudden stops, and lightning-fast starts. It was this mastery over the horses that gave the chariot its edge. The Hittite charioteers were not merely drivers, they were artists of the battlefield. However, the power of the chariot lay not only in its speed and maneuverability, but also in its capacity to carry a deadly payload, the bow and arrow. The warrior seated in the chariot was more than just a soldier. He was a marksman, an expert in the art of archery. With the chariot providing him with a vantage point and stability, he could fire arrows with accuracy and force. The bow and arrow were not just weapons. They were extensions of the warrior's will, capable of delivering swift and silent death from a distance. The warrior's skill was crucial. He needed to be able to draw the bow with precision, release the arrow at the right moment, and ensure a clean, swift shot. His target, the enemy soldiers, were not stationary. They were moving, dodging, and trying to return fire. But the warrior's aim was steady and true. The sound of the bowstring resonating and the whistling of arrows through the air became a symphony of warfare. Each arrow found its mark with deadly precision. The enemy soldiers had no time to react. Before they could raise their shields or return fire, the chariot would be upon them, delivering a volley of arrows that left them wounded or dead. The combination of the charioteer-esque skill in maneuvering and the warrior-esque precision with the bow created a formidable force. Together, they were a deadly duo, capable of wreaking havoc on the battlefield. The chariot was more than just a weapon. It was a symbol of power, a testament to human ingenuity, and a harbinger of change in the ancient world. It marked a shift in warfare, a departure from traditional battle tactics, and the beginning of a new era. As the sun set on ancient civilizations, the chariot stood as a reminder of the relentless march of progress and the unending quest for dominance. Do you know of any other secret ancient weapons? Add us. Know in the comments. And don't forget to subscribe for more updates. As the bullets fly and bombs burst overhead amidst the chaos of war, there exists a secret realm where the fate of nations is decided not by brute force, but by the quiet click of keyboards and the swiftness of human intellect. Imagine a shadowy room filled with men and women, intensely focused on rows upon rows of ciphers, their eyes scanning frantically to uncover the hidden messages encoded within. This is the hidden battleground of the war, where the enemy is invisible and the weapons are words. Here, the victors will be those who can decode the enemy's plans before time runs out, for every minute counts in this silent war. It's the year 1941, and the world is engulfed in the flames of World War II. As the Axis powers tighten their grip across Europe, the fight for dominance has reached a fever pitch. Amidst the roar of the battlefields, there is a hushed war being waged in the quiet confines of a British country estate known as Bletchley Park. It was here that the British government established a top-secret facility dedicated to breaking enemy codes. But the task before them was daunting. The Germans had deployed a new weapon of war, the Enigma machine, a device capable of producing a seemingly endless stream of ever-changing ciphers. This meant that every day brought a new set of challenges, forcing the Codebreakers to start almost from scratch every morning. To make matters worse, the Enigma machine was considered unbreakable, a fortress of encryption that seemed to mock the efforts of the brilliant minds trying to crack it. Yet amidst this daunting challenge, hope flickered in the form of one man, Alan Turing. Renowned as a mathematician and logician, Turing possessed a unique ability to think outside the box. While others saw only the complexity and randomness of the Enigma code, Turing saw a pattern, a rhythm, a hidden order waiting to be uncovered. His solution was nothing short of revolutionary. Instead of trying to solve the Enigma code manually, he proposed building a machine that could do the calculations faster than the enemy could communicate. This machine would become known as the bomb. Picture a vast network of worry gears and blinking lights, a mechanical marvel that could calculate thousands of possible code settings in mere seconds. With the bomb, the Codebreakers were no longer at the mercy of the Enigma machine. They could now enter a series of letters and symbols, essentially asking the machine, "What if?" And with each turn of the gears, the bomb would answer, providing a new set of potential solutions. It was a game-changing development, a secret weapon in the silent war of codes. But like all weapons, the effectiveness of the bomb depended on the skill of its wielder. Enter Joan Clark, a brilliant mathematician in her own right. Her sharp mind and keen eye for detail made her the perfect candidate to lead the team operating the bomb. Working tirelessly alongside her was another unsung hero, Max Newman. A gifted mathematician, Newman's ability to grasp complex concepts quickly and apply them to real-world problems proved invaluable in the race against time. Together, Clark and Newman formed an unstoppable duo, guiding the bomb's intricate mechanisms to produce the insights needed to crack the Enigma code. However, despite the incredible advancements in code-breaking technology, there was still a crucial piece of the puzzle that remained elusive, the human element. Even with the bomb's help, deciphering the enemy's messages required a level of human intuition and linguistic expertise that no machine could replicate. Enter the Hut-6 team, a group of men and women whose primary responsibility was to decipher intercepted messages. Among them was Peter Codebreakers, a young Polish refugee who had escaped the war-torn Europe to offer his services to the British war effort. His fluency in several languages, including German, made him an ideal candidate for the Hut-6 team. Alongside him was another standout member, Dilly Knox, a classic scholar whose knowledge of ancient languages and codes proved surprisingly useful in the world of modern cryptography. Together, these codebreakers worked tirelessly, poring over the cryptic messages produced by the bomb, searching for patterns and meanings that could give them an edge in the war. As the war raged on, the stakes grew higher, and so did the pressure on the Codebreakers. The success of military operations hinged on their ability to stay one step ahead of the enemy. Yet amidst the tension and urgency, the Codebreakers at Bletchley Park pressed on. Driven by a shared sense of duty and an unwavering belief in the power of intelligence. You are the crew of a U-boat. Year is 1941 and the mission is clear. Attack and sink Allied merchant ships carrying vital supplies to the war effort. As you dive deep beneath the waves, you know that your vessel is virtually undetectable. The ticking of the clock is your only company, and when the order to fire your torpedoes comes, you must act swiftly and silently. The fate of the war could hinge on your next move. Your target appears on your sonar, a merchant ship sailing through the Atlantic. The pressure is immense, but you have trained for this moment. Your crew works with a precision born from months of intense drills. The U-boat, with its diesel-powered engine and limited range, relies on every second counting. As you close in on your target, the tension is palpable. Single miss, and your mission could be compromised. But with a steady hand and a well-timed release, your torpedoes streak through the water towards their target. The explosion sends a shockwave through the ocean, and a fiery bloom marks the spot where your torpedoes have struck home. With the target neutralized, you race back to base, knowing that you have just dealt a blow to the enemy that they woe and see coming, until it's too late. This is the power of the submarine, a weapon of war that operates in the shadows, striking fear into the hearts of its enemies and changing the course of history from the darkest depths of the ocean. But what makes the submarine such a formidable weapon? Why does it hold the power to turn the tides of war? The answer lies in its very nature. Unlike battleships that rule the surface of the sea, the submarine is a phantom, moving silently beneath the waves, evading detection and striking with precision. The submarine's ability to operate in relative secrecy allows it to surprise its targets, catching them off guard and delivering devastating blows before they can even react. During the height of the Battle of the Atlantic in World War II, German U-boats caused havoc, sinking over 2,000 Allied ships and nearly starving Britain of essential supplies. The submarine's impact on the outcome of major conflicts is undeniable. The evolution of the submarine has been nothing short of remarkable. From the crude, cigar-shaped vessels of the past to the sophisticated nuclear-powered behemoths of today, the submarine has come a long way. As technology advances, so too does the submarine, becoming more powerful, more precise, and more capable of operating in the most extreme environments. Today, submarines are equipped with state-of-the-art sonar systems, allowing them to detect enemy vessels with unmatched accuracy. Their torpedoes have become smarter, able to track and target their victims with deadly precision. And their crews are trained to the highest level of precision, able to carry out complex maneuvers with split-second timing. The submarine is no longer just a weapon of war. It has become a platform for espionage, research, and exploration. The ocean's depths, once thought to be impenetrable, have become accessible to human eyes thanks to the submarine. But perhaps the most fascinating aspect of the submarine is the psychological warfare it engenders. The idea of an enemy lurking beneath the surface of the water, as unseen and undetected, is enough to strike fear into the hearts of even the most seasoned sailors. The submarine becomes a symbol of the unknown, a manifestation of the dangers that lie beneath the waves. It is this element of surprise, this ability to strike from the shadows, that makes the submarine such a formidable weapon. When the enemy least expects it, when their defenses are at their lowest, the submarine emerges, delivering a blow that can cripple entire fleets and turn the tide of battle. As you stand on the deck of a modern warship, looking out over the vast expanse of the ocean, remember that beneath the surface, hidden from sight, is a weapon more powerful than any other. The submarine may not always be visible, but its presence is always felt. It is the silent hunter of the deep, and it is here to stay. We have barely scratched the surface of this incredible machine. If you want to dive deeper into the world of submarines, don't forget to subscribe and join our submarine squad. Together, we will explore the hidden depths of this fascinating vessel and uncover the secrets that have made it one of the most feared weapons of war in history. Thank you for joining us on this journey. And until next time, remember, the real adventure is down there. The year is 1945, and the Second World War is coming to an end. You find yourself on the flight deck of an aircraft carrier, the USS Lexington, as it prepares for its final mission of the war. The order has come down from the brass: destroy the remaining Japanese Naval Air Force. If this attack goes according to plan, there won't be a single Japanese plane left to challenge American air supremacy in the Pacific. What unfolds before your eyes is a display of raw power as wave after wave of American aircraft scream into the sky, diving towards the unsuspecting Japanese fleet. With each passing moment, the American airmen gain confidence in their growing superiority. Japan had once boasted a formidable air force, but now it's nothing more than a shadow of its former self. The war, which had begun with Pearl Harbor, an audacious surprise attack by the Japanese, would end with Japan's navy crippled beyond repair. As the last Japanese plane explodes into a fiery ball of twisted metal, a cheer erupts from the sailors on the Lexington. Victory is within reach. But how did it happen? How did air power swing so decisively in the Americans' favor? The answer lies in the ashes of a nation, the charred remains of countless aircraft, and most importantly, in the stories of the men who dared to conquer the skies. At the outbreak of the Second World War, Japan believed its air force was second to none. The Mitsubishi A6M0, known as the Demon of the Pacific, ruled the skies. Turning the tables on the lumbering American bombers, the United States, however, had a different vision. They saw the war not just as a battle between two nations, but as a conflict that would determine the future of aviation. The US wanted to show the world the true potential of air power. So when the Japanese attacked Pearl Harbor, killing more than 2,400 Americans, it was seen as a challenge, a chance to demonstrate what air power could achieve. The response was swift and decisive. The United States deployed its most advanced aircraft carriers, the Lexington and the Saratoga. And with them, a new era of warfare began. As the war in the Pacific raged on, the Americans relentlessly pursued their goal of total air superiority. They rolled out new aircraft carriers, each more formidable than the last, and with them, they brought new technologies that turned the tide of the war. The introduction of the F-6F Hellcat fighter plane was a pivotal moment. Piloted by skilled aces like Kavanaugh and Wade, these planes shot down hundreds of Japanese aircraft, crippling Japan's ability to wage war in the Pacific. But air power wasn't just about superior technology or skilled pilots. It was about strategy. The Americans realized that to defeat Japan, they needed to strike at its very core, its industrial capacity. So they turned to a new weapon, the B-29 Superfortress. These massive bombers, capable of carrying a devastating payload of explosives, would fly deep into Japanese territory, dropping bombs that leveled entire cities. The use of the B-29 marked a turning point in the war. It was a demonstration of just how powerful air forces had become. And as the war drew to a close, with the dropping of the atomic bombs on Hiroshima and Nagasaki, the might of air power was laid bare before the world. Air power had indeed proven to be the decisive factor in winning the war against Japan. Now, with the Japanese Navy crippled beyond repair, the United States stood triumphant, having reshaped the very definition of naval warfare. But the story of air power doesn't end here. It continues to evolve, shaping the future of warfare and reminding us of the enduring legacy of those who dared to conquer the skies. Today, as we look up into the sky, we see more than just birds or clouds. We see a testament to the power of human ingenuity and courage. Air power has become an integral part of our world, influencing global events and protecting our interests around the globe. It serves as a reminder that the battle for supremacy is no longer confined to the ground or the seas. It's up there in the skies where the true power lies. The year is 1945, and the world is engulfed in the throes of the Second World War. A conflict that has been raging for over half a decade. Men have fought and died on battlefields across the globe. Cities lie in ruins, and economies are on the brink of collapse. But the end of the war is on the horizon, and with it, the promise of a new beginning. However, this new world order will be shaped by a weapon that is unlike anything the world has ever seen. A weapon that will change the very definition of warfare. On July 16, 1945, deep within the barren deserts of New Mexico, something extraordinary is about to happen. At the Trinity test site, a team of scientists led by J. Robert Oppenheimer are on the verge of creating the first atomic bomb. After years of research and development, they are ready to witness the birth of a new era, an era defined by the power of the atom. As the world watches intently, the countdown begins. 10, 9, 8. The world holds its breath. 3, 2, 1, 0. The sky erupts in a blinding flash of light. Everything is consumed by brilliance for an instant. The heat is unbearable. The ground shakes beneath your feet as if the earth itself is trembling in fear. And then, as the light fades, a mushroom cloud rises into the heavens, a silent harbinger of the future. In that moment, the world enters the atomic age. The first atomic bomb has just been dropped, and with it, the balance of power has shifted forever. The implications of this event will send shockwaves across the globe, changing the course of the war and shaping the future of humanity. Across the world, In the heart of Japan, Emperor Hirohito receives the news. His empire is on the verge of collapse. With the Allies closing in from all sides, Japan is facing a bleak future. But Hirohito is not a man to surrender easily. He knows that his country is on the brink of annihilation, but he refuses to give up. Instead, he makes a fateful decision that will shape the course of history. Faced with the threat of total destruction, Emperor Hirohito makes the agonizing decision to surrender. On September 2nd, 1945, the Japanese emperor announces his unconditional surrender, bringing an end to World War II. The conflict that has ravaged the globe for nearly 6 years is finally over. But the celebrations are short-lived. The cost of victory is immeasurable. Millions have perished, cities lie in ruins, and the world is left to grapple with the horrors of a conflict that has changed everything. But the true cost of the atomic bomb is yet to be revealed. In the aftermath of World War II, as the dust settles and the world begins to rebuild, the full implications of the atomic bomb become clear. The bombings of Hiroshima and Nagasaki serve as a grim reminder of the destructive potential of this new weapon. Entire cities have been wiped off the map, leaving behind a haunting wasteland of burnt earth and shattered lives. The survivors are left to deal with the long-term effects of radiation poisoning, while entire generations bear the physical and psychological scars of this horrific event. But the impact of the atomic bomb goes beyond the immediate devastation. The world is forever changed by the destructive power of the atom. The era of nuclear deterrence begins, where the threat of nuclear war hangs over every nation like a dark cloud. The Cold War emerges as a new global struggle between the United States and the Soviet Union, a conflict that will define the latter half of the 20th century. The arms race accelerates as both sides race to stockpile more nuclear weapons, increasing the stakes of any potential conflict. The world now lives under the constant threat of nuclear attack, forever on the edge of annihilation. And so, the atomic bomb becomes the ultimate secret weapon, a force that shapes global politics, compels nations to rethink their strategies, and alters the very definition of warfare. The world that emerges from the ashes of World War II is a changed world. The old rules no longer apply. Power is no longer measured by economic strength or military might. It is quantified by the number of nuclear warheads a nation possesses. The atomic bomb has ushered in a new era of geopolitics, an era where the threat of mutual destruction keeps the world in check. In this brave new world, victory means survival. The atomic bomb has leveled the playing field, making total war a less viable option. The very existence of these weapons serves as a deterrent, ensuring that conflicts remain localized and controlled. But this fragile balance is constantly threatened by the ambitions of nations and the paranoia of superpowers. The Cold War intensifies, pushing the world closer and closer to the brink of nuclear disaster. The threat of mutually assured destruction looms large, a terrifying prospect that keeps both sides on edge. The slightest miscalculation could trigger a catastrophic chain reaction, ending all life as we know it. And so, the atomic bomb continues to cast its shadow over the world, a constant reminder of the destructive potential of mankind's greatest invention. The age of nuclear proliferation has begun, and the world will never be the same again. As you stand there witnessing the dawn of the atomic age, you realize that the world will never be the same again. The atomic bomb has changed everything. The balance of power has shifted. The rules of war have been rewritten, and the fate of humanity now hangs in the balance. The road ahead is fraught with uncertainty, but one thing is clear. The atomic bomb has ushered in a new era. An era defined by the power of the atom and the threat of mutually assured destruction. Only time will tell how this new world will unfold, but one thing is certain, the world will never be the same again. When you think of war, what comes to mind? Battles, soldiers, weapons. How about shadows? If I told you the real battles are fought in the shadows. Welcome to my channel. The year is 1960, the Cold War is raging. You find yourself in the ruins of a city, the remnants of a grand metropolis crumbling around you. The streets are empty, the buildings are battered. It feels like a ghost town. But beneath this eerie silence, there's a different kind of activity going on. A battle of wits, courage, and deception. A battle of espionage. You are a spy, an unseen force operating behind enemy lines. Your mission is critical. Intel suggests a secret meeting is taking place tonight. clandestine exchange of vital information. But your orders are clear: infiltrate, observe, and report back. But don't expect any backup. Here, failure is not an option. The fate of nations hangs in the balance. Move through the deserted streets. The only sound, your own heartbeat and the distant echo of a dog's bark. Each step is fraught with danger. Every shadow seems to conceal a potential threat. You are not alone. The enemy has their own agents here, and they too are playing a dangerous game. Suddenly, a movement in a darkened alley. Two figures emerge, their faces obscured by the shadows. They exchange a package. Then just as quickly, they disappear into the maze of ruined buildings. It's a cat and mouse game. You must stay one step ahead, anticipate their moves, and outsmart them at every turn. This is the world of espionage, where the greatest weapon is not the loudest, but the most discreet. You are a ghost, a phantom haunting the enemy, gathering intelligence, sabotaging operations, all while remaining hidden in the shadows. Your targets are not military installations or heavily guarded facilities. They are hidden, perhaps in a civilian's home, disguised as an ordinary citizen. But you are trained to spot the anomalies, the slight variations in behavior or environment that indicate something is amiss. Perhaps it's a flickering light in an unexpected place, a hushed conversation, or a sudden increase in security. You are the expert at reading these signs, at piecing together the clues to form a complete picture. Tonight's mission is just one piece of a much larger puzzle. Like a giant mosaic, each piece of information you bring back fits into a larger design, revealing a bigger picture. That's the real challenge of espionage, connecting the dots. Seeing the bigger picture when everyone else sees only isolated pieces of information. Espionage is not just about bravery or skill. It's about patience, strategy, and most importantly, understanding human behavior. You are not just hunting for secrets. You are hunting for people, observing them, understanding their habits, their routines, their relationships. Because in the world of espionage, the best sources of information are often the people closest to the secrets, the ones least likely to be suspected. Tonight's mission ends with the exchange of information. But your work is far from over. You have to get out of this city alive, as the enemy knows your presence here, and soon the game will be afoot. You move through the shadows, careful, silent, and deadly. In this game, lives hang in the balance, secrets are traded, and the stakes are higher than ever before. But the real game, the one that truly matters, is just beginning. And as the night deepens and the danger grows, you know that you are playing a part in a much bigger story. A story that will shape the world. A story of espionage. Espionage is not just about the missions, the gadgets, or the glamorous lifestyle. It's about the people. The real people whose lives are impacted by the decisions made in the shadows. By the secrets revealed in the dead of the night. It's about the courage to face danger head-on. The intellect to outsmart the enemy, and the commitment to serve something bigger than oneself. It's a world where every shadow holds a secret, every whisper could betray you, and every face might be an enemy. Yet you stand tall, ready to face the darkness, because you are not just a spy. You are a protector, a guardian of your country's interest, an agent of truth in a world of lies. And as the night draws to a close, and the first rays of dawn peek through the darkness, you know that your work is never truly done. You are a spy, and this is your world. In the heart of London, deep in the labyrinthine halls of Whitehall, a battle is being waged. It is a battle of ideas, perceptions, and convictions. It is a silent war where the weapons are words, misinformation, and carefully crafted illusions. This is the domain of psychological operations, the hidden facet of warfare, where the objective is not to conquer territory, but to conquer the minds of the enemy. Here the stakes are high. The target, the very soul of a nation. On one side stands the United Kingdom, a beacon of democracy and freedom. And on the other, an adversary shrouded in secrecy and driven by nefarious designs. Let's call them the Shadow Network. The Shadow Network's motives are as dark as their methods are deceptive. Their goal, nothing less than the disintegration of Western democracy, They seek to undermine public trust in institutions, to sow discord among allies, and to blur the lines between truth and falsehood until reality itself becomes malleable. But the British government is not caught off guard. They've assembled a team of specialists, individuals who understand the intricacies of human psychology and the power of perception. Their mission: to counter the Shadow Network's psychological operations and protect the integrity of the nation. At the helm of this operation is a seasoned professional, someone who has dedicated their life to understanding the dark arts of persuasion and deception. With an air of quiet confidence, they lead their team into the murky depths of the psychological battlefield. Armed with an arsenal of psychological insights and counter-manipulation techniques, they are ready to face the unseen enemy. The battle commences, not with a clash of arms, but with a clash of narratives. The Shadow Network, with its shadowy operatives and hidden agendas, launches a wave of misinformation and disinformation. Falsehoods are peddled as truths, designed to erode public trust in everything from elections to law enforcement. But the counter team is prepared. With surgical precision, they dissect each piece of misinformation, exposing the lies and revealing the motives behind them. The next attack from the Shadow Network comes in the form of social discord. They exploit every crack in society, deepening existing rifts and fanning the flames of division. But the counter team counters this with a campaign of its own, focusing on shared values, common goals, and the strength that comes from unity. Then comes the most insidious weapon in the Shadow Network's arsenal, the weapon that preys on our deepest fears and prejudices. They stir up hatred and bigotry, attempting to turn neighbor against neighbor and brother against brother. But the counter team remains steadfast. They launch a campaign to promote tolerance, understanding, and the peaceful coexistence of diverse communities. As the battle rages on, the stakes become clearer. The Shadow Network is not merely trying to deceive or divide. They aim to conquer, to subjugate the minds of the populace and bend them to the will of their sinister masters. But the counter team, drawing strength from their unwavering commitment to truth and justice, presses on. They know that the fate of the nation, nay, the fate of democracy itself, hangs in the balance. In the end, this psychological duel comes down to a battle of perceptions. The Shadow Network, with its allure of easy answers and scapegoats, may momentarily sway the undecided. But the counter team, with its message of resilience, unity, and unwavering commitment to truth, will prove irresistible to the vast majority. The battle is not without its casualties. Lives will be disrupted, careers ruined, and reputations tarnished. But the cost of inaction is far greater. To stand against the tide of manipulation and deception is hard. But to stand against the rising tide of fascism and oppression is harder still. So the battle continues, not just in the minds of the people, but in the hearts and souls of a nation. It is a battle worth having because the alternative is a world without freedom, a world without hope, a world without democracy. Warfare is an ever-evolving landscape. And as we stand at the precipice of the 21st century's midpoint, it's crucial to reflect on the weapons that have left indelible marks on human history. Some of these weapons were openly displayed, while others remained shrouded in secrecy, whispering tales of intrigue and strategy. Today we're going to delve into the latter, exploring secret weapons that changed the face of warfare, but whose narratives have often been overlooked. But before we delve into these covert arsenals, I want to ask you something. What do you think is the most underrated aspect of warfare? Is it the strategies employed, the tactics, or perhaps the psychological dimensions of conflict? Let us know in the comments below. Your thoughts could be the inspiration for our next video. The first weapon on our list is none other than the long bow. This seemingly simple device was a technological marvel of medieval England. During the 14th and 15th centuries, it revolutionized warfare with its incredible range and accuracy. The longbow's efficiency allowed English forces to defeat larger armies at distances previously unattainable. Its impact was so profound that battles like Agincourt and Crecy became legendary, showcasing the longbow's pivotal role in medieval warfare. Next, let's discuss the Battle of Actium, a pivotal naval engagement that marked the end of the Roman Republic and the rise of the Roman Empire. While often overshadowed by land-based conflicts, the Battle of Actium was a turning point in history. largely due to the introduction of innovative naval tactics and technologies. The use of fire ships, a tactic employed by both sides, added an element of unpredictability and lethality to the battle. These vessels, laden with flammable materials, were intentionally steered into enemy formations, causing widespread destruction and shifting the tide of the battle. Furthermore, improvements in ship design, including the development of more maneuverable vessels and the utilization of hooks and grappling irons for close-quarters combat, played a significant role in determining the outcome of the conflict. Moving forward in time, we come to the era of espionage and sabotage during World War II. Secret weapons like the Little Green Men and the Honey Bee were employed in unconventional ways to deceive and dismantle Nazi Germany's war efforts. These programs, often shrouded in secrecy, showcase the importance of psychological warfare and misinformation in 20th century conflicts. By infiltrating German lines with undercover agents, or by spreading disinformation through various channels, the Allies disrupted German operations, sowing seeds of confusion and mistrust within Nazi ranks. The mid-20th century witnessed the birth of a new era in warfare with the advent of nuclear weapons. The Manhattan Project, a top-secret research and development program, led to the creation of the first atomic bombs, forever changing the nature of warfare. The bombings of Hiroshima and Nagasaki not only brought an end to World War II, but also ushered in the nuclear age. These events serve as stark reminders of the immense destructive capabilities unleashed during this period and the enduring impact of nuclear weapons on global geopolitics. Finally, we come to the computer and its impact on modern warfare. While not a weapon in the traditional sense, the computer has undoubtedly revolutionized 21st century conflicts. The advent of cyber warfare and the increasing reliance on advanced technologies for military operations have made the computer a silent but essential player on the modern battlefield. From intelligence gathering to precision targeting, computers have provided militaries with unprecedented levels of capability, efficiency, and reach. The use of drones, for instance, exemplifies this, allowing for remote surveillance and targeted strikes with minimal risk to human operators. And there you have it, a glimpse into the covert world of secret weapons that have shaped the course of human history. Do you have a favorite secret weapon or a particular era of warfare that interests you the most? Please share your thoughts in comments below. We would love to hear from you.